The Scholarship Jacket, Part 2. Martha Salinas. I was almost back at my classroom door when I heard voices raised in anger, as if some sort of argument. I stopped. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I just hesitated, not knowing what to do. I needed those shorts, and I was going to be late, but I didn't want to interrupt an argument between teachers. I recognized the voices. Mr. Schmidt, my history teacher, and Mr. Boone, my math teacher. They seemed to be arguing about me. I couldn't believe it. I still remember the feeling of shock that rooted me flat against the wall, as if I were trying to blend in with the graffiti written there. "I refuse to do it. I don't care who her father is. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. I won't lie or falsify records. Martha is a straight A+ average, and you know it." That was Mr. Schmidt, and he sounded very angry. Mr. Boone's voice sounded calm and quiet. "Look, Joanna's father is not only on the board. He owns the only store in town. We could say it was a close tie and, The pounding in my ears was drowned out by the rest of the words. Only a word here and there filtered through. "Martha is Mexican. Resign. Won't do it." Mr. Schmidt came rushing out, and luckily for me, he went the opposite way toward the auditorium so he didn't see me. Shaking, I waited a few minutes, and then went in and grabbed my bag and fled from the room. Mr. Boone looked up when I came in, but didn't say anything. To this day I don't remember if I got in trouble in P.E. for being late, or how I made it through the rest of the afternoon. I went home very sad and cried into my pillow that night, so Grandmother wouldn't hear me. It seemed a cruel coincidence that I had overheard that conversation. The next day, when the principal called me into his office, I knew what it would be about. He looked uncomfortable and unhappy. I decided that I wasn't going to make it any easier for him, so I looked him straight in the eyes. He looked away and fidgeted with the papers on his desk. "Martha," he said, "there's been a change in policy this year regarding the scholarship jacket. As you know, it has always been free." He cleared his throat and continued. "This year, the board has decided to charge $15, which still won't cover the complete cost of the jacket." I stared at him in shock, and a small sound of dismay escaped my throat. I hadn't expected this. He still avoided looking in my eyes. "So, if you are unable to pay the $15 for the jacket, it'll be given to the next one in line." I didn't need to ask who that was. Standing with all the dignity I could muster, I said, "I'll speak to my grandfather about it, sir, and let you know tomorrow." I cried on the walk home from the bus stop. The dirt road was a quarter-mile from the highway, so by the time I got home, my eyes were red and puffy. "Where's Grandpa?" I asked Grandma, looking down at the floor so that she wouldn't ask me why I'd been crying. She was sewing on a quilt, as usual, and didn't look up. "I think he's out back working in the bean field."